We got our first big showing of Star Wars Outlaws, of gameplay, of an extended, multiple bits of gameplay and cinematics and stuff. Also, a preview of what it looks like the choices are going to look like, and so on and so forth. During the Ubisoft Forward this week, and this has propelled this game right up to the top of a list that I already had it on with my favorite games of this year or my most anticipated. This year, I was really excited for Hellblade 2, for hopefully Dragon Age, now the Veil Guard, as well as this game, Star Wars Outlaws. And it looks like I had every reason to be. If you don't know already, I at one point was a pretty dedicated the Division creator, Division 1 and 2, to the point of going to E3 for it and all kinds of other stuff. So Ubisoft Massive, who is making Star Wars Outlaws, is a studio full of people who I know and really enjoy and have a ton of respect for their work on the Division. And when we found out they were doing Star Wars Outlaws, there was a little bit of trepidation of like, okay, they're kind of abandoning this game that I'm like here for. I hope this is worth it. And I think it will be. From what we've seen in this footage and trailers and so on, I believe that Star Wars Outlaws is going to come out and be a prestige game for Ubisoft, and especially put Ubisoft Massive on the map with being as good of a studio as any other in the world. I already believe that, but I think while Division 1 and 2 were fairly big games and Division 2 still actively in development, depending on how you look at it. And especially Division 2 was very critically acclaimed. I still think people look at Massive as the Division studio, right? Even though they have a pretty long history of games before that, and even before Ubisoft. But I really believe Star Wars Outlaws is going to be their opportunity to kind of carry on the momentum of the Avatar game that was made by a separate team than the one who's made Division or this game, this Outlaws game. But that game is still pretty well respected, especially for its the engine, the tools they used. For the fidelity and the graphics of that game. The gameplay and the story are maybe not so lauded, but that game did, I think, give people a different look at that Division studio can do something different, even if it's kind of Avatar Far Cry, but it's very pretty. And I think Star Wars Outlaws is going to be kind of like the knockout punch with that take. We're seeing a game that looks like it looks good. It doesn't really look or feel, from what we can see, like the Division. And I saw multiple people talk about that. I think got to play 3 missions in the game. Big Division fans, Greg Miller being one of them, say like it doesn't really feel like the Division, and that's not in a bad way. It's actually kind of exciting because that means that they aren't just reskinning a bunch of their mechanics. It's starting from scratch, which is great. But we saw so much stuff in these trailers that looked so good. The way that you're going to use Nyx, your little dog companion buddy, the way that you're going to use her different types of blaster types. The K-Vess, I believe, is her name. The main character we're going to play as. We saw some good scenes of making choices. Like there was one where I assume your bounty target or some target of some kind walks in the door, and you have to make like a decision between taking them out and claiming, I assume, a bounty on them, or negotiating with them. And how all of the decisions you make throughout the game will help or hurt your reputation with the various factions in the game. Oddly enough, it reminded me a lot of Fallout New Vegas in that way. We'll see if it plays out like that or not. But what you have to remember, and what they didn't really touch on, obviously, is that all of those choices, I assume, whoever you're allied with or not at the end of the game, are going to impact the ending. And, that's going to lead to replayability and things like that. We saw a lot more space fighting in this one, which looks so good. It's very Rogue Squadron-esque, or even one of the Battlefronts I think actually had good space combat. One of the coolest things we saw is that in a very No Man's Sky kind of way, you take off from your ship and you go from the surface through the atmosphere to space, and then from space through the atmosphere to the surface. The big comparisons being with Starfield. I think it's kind of weird to compare Starfield to this game, but that is one of the things about Starfield people wish was a bit more immersive, and I can appreciate that. But yeah, this game, it looks like it's got style. It looks like it's going to be fun. It's, like Kay Vess seems like a really good character, and like she's going to be fun to be controlling and kind of having this Han Solo type journey through the universe. What I'm really hoping from this game is it's going to have a very Star Wars Jedi Survivor kind of situation where you have a compelling, cool story to play through that's like 15 to 20 hours, and then there's going to be a bunch of other stuff you can get into if you want. Like the bounties in Jedi Survivor were one of my favorite things, and this game is just designed to have that, right? So I'm excited to see how that plays out. I am hoping that this is not going to be one of those Assassin's Creed Valhalla situations where we have like an 80-hour main story, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I suspect the main story will be fairly tight, and I'm hoping that they allow a lot of other things to kind of populate the world to do if you want to spend more time in that world than just on the main quest. But overall, I just think everything about this looks so great. I'm super, super excited to play this. I will be trying to get a early review code so I can do some of that stuff I did with Avatar. So I'm hoping I have just enough clout and maybe some inside connections there to help me get a code and be able to give my thoughts on that ASAP. It's coming in August, so those codes will probably start going out in July, maybe early August at the latest. So I'm really excited to get to check this out, to play it this year, and I could easily see this game be one of my games of the year, if not the main one. But it's got some competition. We'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you think about Star Wars Outlaws down in the comments, and what you thought of all of this new stuff we've seen from it and from some of the new info we've gotten beyond that presentation. If you like this video, please hit the like button so more people see it. If you really want to see more content like this, my coverage of Outlaws, gaming news and speculation, all of that in general, consider subscribing to the channel. If you really want to support, consider becoming a YouTube member to get videos like this early, to get a cool little icon beside your name when you comment, and some other stuff in there as well that supports these videos, my 2 podcasts, and my stream. That's all I have for this one, so until next time.